to Direct Impact, where we discuss the various ways our mental health and quality of life intersect. I'm your host, Andrea Epting, licensed professional counselor, master's addictions counselor, and certified sex therapist. Think of our time together as focused self-reflection, mixed with insight, passion, and empowerment. Now, take a deep breath. Now let's dive in and see what impacts you today. All right. Thanks so much for showing up, guys. I really appreciate it. Encouraged and excited to be with you today. I just wanted to start off by talking a little bit about our podcast, what we do, what we're trying to accomplish, what you're listening to, and why you might want to keep listening to it. So yeah, that's the hook. Hang in there. We really want you to stay with us. I believe that if you go on this journey with us, if you save this episode, if you share this episode, if you just make sure that you're listening to us on a weekly basis, I honestly believe this will be life-changing for you. And let me explain why I truly believe that. This podcast is developed for you, with you in mind. Somebody who is motivated, somebody who is contemplative, somebody who is really working on being hopeful about their future and the impact that they can make on their lives, the lives of others, and yes, the world. We're coming to you. We believe in you. We want to be on board with you. Okay? So I thought, when I'm listening to podcasts anyway, in the first few seconds, I'm really judging, do I want to spend my time continuing to listen to this podcast? Because my time is super valuable. And I know that yours is too. Your time is valuable. And that's why we schedule just once a week, 20-minute episodes coming to you chock full of value, free, consistent content that is virtuous, that is life-giving, that is sustaining, that will feed our audience in a way that's going to take you through the week in a wonderful way. We are 1000% so much more than just a clickbait that's we're going to give you 5 steps to clearing up your depression or, 3 ways to minimize your anxiety this week. That is not what we're about. We're with you for the long haul. We know that each one of you is special and individual and has a whole different life experience from the next person. We value each of our listeners. So no, not clickbait over here. We really want to offer you, again, just that free, consistent, valuable content that will follow you into and through your week. We want to be there with you. We want to go along the journey with you. We know that life is a journey. We know that it's a tough journey. We know that you are going to have peaks and you are going to have valleys, and we kind of want to be there with you for that. So why did we start this podcast? This is a really good question because I want to know too why 4 licensed professional counselors come together in a room multiple times a week to develop a podcast, and they're volunteering their time to do that. And we're spending all this money to provide free content to you. Yeah, I ask myself the same question, but we do it because we care. We want to be with you for that journey. And we're excited to be part of that journey with you. So that's really what we're about. And we're going to be bringing speakers in. So we're going to have me, your host, Andrea Epting, coming to you live every week, but you're also going to have speakers sprinkled in throughout because I would not ever claim to know everything, not by a long shot. I specialize in addictions. I specialize in trauma-initiated process disorders. I specialize in eating disorders, sexual compulsivity. I specialize in mood and food, betrayal trauma. There are some things I specialize in, but guess what? There are a lot of things out there that I know very little or nothing about. So we're going to bring speakers in who know a lot about these topics because we really are approaching this on a broader scale. Because we do. We respect each and every one of our listeners and the different backgrounds that you come from. What you bring to the table is something we do consider. We want to make sure that we're giving you lots of different ways to think about things, lots of different ways to approach things. So that's part of what we're about. And we're really excited about the speakers that we're bringing to you this year. We are. We're excited. We try to bring the best of the best and quality to our audience. So that's why we started this podcast. And I hope that you'll be along for the ride with us. We want to be completely transparent with you about how we do this, why we do this, what's our goal, what's our aim. Here's the thing for me. I've been counseling for a really long time, and I've been doing the 60-hour work week for a very long time where I'm able to significantly impact the lives of the people that sit in that space and sit in that room with me. I'm able to impact the groups that I provide and the individuals I provide services to and the supervisees that I work with. But there's only so much you can do in a 60-hour work week, and I believe the value and the passion and the energy behind what we do needs to go beyond the 60-hour work week. And that's why we are doing this podcast. We want to make sure that everybody out there, absolutely free of charge, gets to really feel the energy and the passion, the excitement behind investing in mental health and being excited about your recovery journeys. Whatever you're recovering from, every single individual is working a recovery program. Everybody is on a journey to recover themselves, to know themselves, to love themselves, to embrace themselves, to spend time in themselves. So yeah, that's really one of the reasons that I'm here, and providing quality, virtuous, life-giving content to this amazing community that you are. And the way that you show up, we want to honor that and show up along with you. Every week, we're going to be here providing that content for you. And so, yes, we are offering this amazing podcast, but I want you to know that we're here for the long haul with you guys. So there are some amazing services that we do provide, some seminars, some workshops, some quizzes and things like that, hey, if you listen to something and you're like, that really actually resonated with me and I want to pursue this. I want to follow this through to the end result. We offer that to you too, which is great because we don't just want to show up once a week. We want you to know we're here for the long haul. But honestly, 60 hours a week, you can only do so much if you're not reaching people on a broader scale. And that's where the podcast came in. We saw an amazing opportunity to send this energy and this virtue, life-giving content into the world. And so this is our attempt to do that. And that's why we show up, and grateful when you show up too. So you might be asking yourself, who's this person coming through my stereo, coming through my AirPods, whatever you're listening to. And so I'll just take a second to fill you in on that because I wonder the same thing when I'm listening to a host on a podcast. I'm kind of curious as to, what season of life they're in, what kind of life experience are they bringing to the table from their perspective. And I think that's really important. So a little bit about me, or the most important parts about me as far as my priorities anyway, is that I am first and foremost a wife. And I have been married for 18 years to a beautiful man that I hope that I can interview on this podcast at some point. He is a licensed clinical social worker and an amazing human being, an individual who works with our active military at Wynn Army Hospital at Fort Stewart, and super proud to be his wife. And I have two beautiful children that I couldn't be more proud of, no matter what. And they're both teenagers. I have a 16-year-old and I have a 14-year-old, almost 15-year-old. I have a son and a daughter, and just can't express how important I believe it is to know that I have been through that phase of life, not just birthing children or having infants or toddlers or adolescents or whatever, but I have two teenagers. So that is where I am today. Also, I think it's important that I come from a blended family. So I come from that background. I'm very proud to say so. I come from a blended family of parents that were divorced at a very young age and who remarried lovely individuals. So I grew up in a home, two separate homes with four loving parents. My mom has since been divorced, but still have just amazing supportive people in my life. So I come from that. That was one of my earlier life experiences and still a daily experience. And Another thing that I feel like is important for my audience maybe to know about me is I experienced a very significant trauma in my life after having my second child. I went in for an exploratory surgery where the surgeon was negligent and severed my ureter, nicked my bladder, destroyed and removed my uterus, and I had 10 subsequent surgeries and was in bed for a year, and that really shaped me and molded me. Now I can say through traumatic growth, just like what an amazing experience it has been to come out of that, to go through it and come out of it. It's changed me in a million beautiful ways. It changed my body, and that's beautiful too. So I feel like, through all of that, overcoming and body positivity is a really big part of the work that I do for men and women. I feel like I am just sitting here thinking what might be valuable to my audience about me personally, other than being a wife, a mother, a daughter, and a human being. I have ADHD, so I'm very passionate about that diagnosis and being effectively and accurately diagnosed, because I feel like those brains are just freaking amazing, and I love everything about atypical brains. I have a son on the spectrum, and I feel like, again, wonderful, beautiful, amazing brains, and knowing how to use those brains and how to identify and communicate with other people with these brilliant brains is important. So that's another perspective that I might come from. And then, there's my professional life, which might interest you a little bit more than my private life. And I've already kind of alluded to it. Like, I'm a psychotherapist. I am a master's addictions counselor. I'm a licensed professional counselor. And I got into the field working in substance abuse, chemical dependency, substance-related addictive disorders. And I started working predominantly with cocaine addiction. And so that got me into the realm of sexual compulsivity and eating disorders. And I've been at that ever since. I absolutely love working in the realm of mood and food. I love working with individuals struggling with unwanted sexual acting out behaviors, be it pornography, sexual addiction, compulsivity. And I also work with couples, which means I do a lot in the realm of betrayal trauma, specifically romantic betrayal, but all different types of betrayal, because when you're working with addictions, there's all types of betrayal that goes on, financial betrayal, all these things. So professionally, I kind of settled in the realm of process addictions or behavioral addictions, and absolutely love every second of that work that I do with these amazing individuals and their loved ones. I work also a lot with codependency and again, the amazing family members and people who have come out of trauma. Most of all the work I do is trauma initiated, so I am a trauma therapist, not just trauma informed. I am a trauma therapist, and I do a lot of EMDR and things of that nature. Lots of different modalities that I love and use in my practice. But that's who I am and what I do. And I hope that helps just for you to know me, to feel a little bit more invested in me and who I am and in the information that I'm providing you, because we really need to build a little bit of a bond of trust for you to be willing to show up every week and listen to what we're talking about. But I really want to go back to life-giving, virtuous content coming to you every single week. And that's why we show up. We believe in you and what this podcast is going to breathe into your life. We want to be that breath of fresh air, like we do in the beginning of our intro, where we say, now take a deep breath in, let it out. We want to be that breath of fresh air, that oxygen that fills and permeates your body and allows you to have an amazing week filled with just self-reflection, emotional intelligence, and life. So again, that's what we're all about, and we invite you to be a big part of that. We, like I said earlier, we want to carry you through the journey. Another thing I didn't really say about myself, but I feel like it's super important because I talked about birthing children, so now I can talk about birthing businesses because that's a whole nother labor and birthing process, and you want to watch them go and thrive and succeed and continue on completely independent without you. And that's another phase of life that I'm in now. So I am the founder and the CEO of Hugs, Heads Up Guidance Services. And what an amazing, unique experience that has been, because we are just different from every other mental health organization in the sense that we utilize professional volunteers from the community. Right now, just in one location, our brick and mortar location, we have 35 therapists volunteering their time pro bono to meet the needs of individuals in this community so we can keep costs down so that quality mental health care is available to all motivated individuals in our community. And so it's unique. It's 100% there for the individual and equally there for the clinician to come in, get excited, get energized without any red tape, just knowing you can show up and serve your clients in a way that's not managed or mismanaged by money or any other entity. It's super unique, and that's just been a labor of love and pride at this point, watching it grow and flourish. Also, I am the founder and clinical director of Resolve Strategies, Inc., and super passionate and in love with the services we provide. They're very specialized services, again, in the realm of mood and food is one of the tracks we provide. And the other track is in sexual compulsivity and betrayal trauma. So we have some lovely, amazing therapists showing up every day with passion and dedication for individuals struggling with chemical addiction, behavioral addiction, trauma, betrayal, and they're willing servants. So super proud. It's a little bit of who I am and what I do. And third labor of love and business birth would be what's called Wise Mind Enterprises and Lightning in a Bottle digital courses. So again, all things mental health, virtue, value, and giving life to the community that we serve. And we hope you'll be a part of it. So again, thank you so much for showing up, and let's dive into this amazing relationship together. We'll see you next week. Bye now. Do you feel preoccupied, confused, or embarrassed about an unwanted behavior? Do you prioritize pornography, food, finances, gambling, toxic people, and/or chemicals over your primary responsibilities? Well, at Resolve Strategies in Savannah, Georgia, our clinical counselors offer evidence-based approaches to take you from discovery to recovery. To learn more about Resolve Strategies, visit www.resolvestrategiesinc.com and take our free quiz, 5 defense mechanisms that might keep you in the dark. Thank you for dropping in. Snaps to you, because you have made a direct impact by listening to this podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media and stay tuned every week for a new episode of Direct Impact with Andrea Epting.